behind the books. The Animal Farm. George Orwell was not born a rebel, he was shaped into one. Born in 1903 as Eric Arthur Blair, Orwell grew up inside the machinery of the British Empire. He studied at one of England's most elite schools and later served as a police officer in British-ruled Burma. That experience changed him permanently. Watching power exercised casually and cruelly over ordinary people left him with a deep disgust for authority that justified itself as necessary or for the greater good. Orwell didn't learn politics from books first, he learned it from reality. By the time he began writing seriously, he had lived among the poor, fought in the Spanish Civil War, and witnessed how revolutions often betray their own ideals. Spain, in particular, taught him a brutal lesson, that lies, propaganda, and fear can rot a movement from the inside, even when it claims to stand for equality. Animal Farm was born from that realization. Written during World War II, the book was Orwell's response to what he saw as the corruption of the Russian Revolution under Stalin. Instead of writing a dense political critique, Orwell chose something far more dangerous: a simple story, a farm, a rebellion, animals who promise freedom, equality, and justice, only to slowly recreate the very tyranny they overthrew. Orwell understood something crucial. People resist arguments, but they remember stories. Animal Farm isn't just about the Soviet Union. It's about how power reshapes language, how ideals decay, and how easily truth can be rewritten when memory fades. That is why this short book, written decades ago, still feels unsettlingly familiar today. This is the mind behind Animal Farm, a writer who believed that telling the truth, clearly and simply, was the most political act of all. Before there was a rebellion, before there were commandments, before there was power, there was a song. Late one night, in a dimly lit barn, the animals of the farm gathered together, and for the first time in their lives, they sang about a future they had never seen. The song was called Beasts of England. It spoke of green fields, fair treatment, and a world without whips or hunger. It did not describe laws or leaders. It described freedom. And as the animals sang, something extraordinary happened. They imagined a life beyond survival. That song did not start a revolution by itself, but it planted the idea that life could be different. Everything that follows in Animal Farm grows from that moment. The place where this song is sung is Manor Farm, a modest English farm owned by a man named Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones is the animals' human owner. He controls their labor, their food, and their fate. He is not unusually cruel. Instead, he is careless, often drunk, and indifferent. He takes what the animals produce and gives them only enough to keep them alive. This matters. Orwell does not begin with a dramatic villain. He begins with neglect. And under neglect, the animals live long, exhausting lives, never questioning the system because they have never imagined an alternative. Until that night in the barn. The song comes from Old Major, an elderly prize boar respected for his age and wisdom. Old Major does not speak with anger. He speaks with clarity. He asks the animals to look honestly at their lives, how hard they work, how little they receive, and what ultimately happens to them when they are no longer useful. He explains that their suffering is not natural or inevitable. It has a cause. Humans, he says, produce nothing but consume everything. Animals produce everything but enjoy none of it. As long as humans remain in control, animals will remain trapped in misery. Old Major offers no detailed plan. Instead, he offers a vision, the one captured in Beasts of England, a future where animals live for themselves, in dignity and equality. Soon after this meeting, Old Major dies. The song remains. After Old Major's death, the animals talk constantly about his ideas. It becomes clear that one group understands them better than the rest: the pigs. The pigs are the most intelligent animals on the farm. They can read, write, and organize thoughts. They take responsibility for shaping Old Major's vision into a belief system called animalism. Two pigs emerge as leaders. Snowball is energetic, articulate, and committed to collective decision-making. He believes education will protect the revolution and spends time explaining ideas to others. Napoleon is larger, quieter, and more reserved. He speaks little, but observes everything. Orwell does not present him as dangerous at first, only secretive. At this stage, the revolution still belongs to everyone. The rebellion does not begin with strategy. It begins with hunger. One night, Mr. Jones forgets to feed the animals. Desperation pushes them to break into the food store. Jones and his men attempt to stop them, but are overwhelmed and chased off the farm. For the first time, the animals are alone. They rename the farm Animal Farm, destroy symbols of human ownership, and commit themselves fully to animalism. The pigs write 7 commandments on the barn wall to preserve equality and prevent the return of tyranny. This is the revolution at its purest, collective, hopeful, and sincere. In the early days, life on Animal Farm is difficult but meaningful. The animals work harder than ever before, but now their labor feels purposeful. More importantly, they are heard. Regular Sunday meetings are held. Every major decision is debated openly. Snowball and Napoleon argue in front of everyone. Other animals listen, question, and vote. The meetings are noisy, slow, and imperfect, but they matter. One animal comes to embody this period. Boxer, a powerful cart horse. Boxer is not intelligent, but he is loyal, sincere, and tireless. His guiding belief is simple: I will work harder. Orwell introduces Boxer to show how goodness, when unquestioning, can be exploited. Pain. The most intense debates center on Snowball's proposal to build a windmill, which he believes will reduce labor and improve life in the future. Napoleon opposes the idea. The farm divides. During a crucial meeting, just as Snowball appears close to winning the vote, Napoleon gives a sharp signal. Dogs he has secretly raised attack Snowball and chase him off the farm. The meeting dissolves, and with it, democratic participation ends. Napoleon announces a new system. There will be no more debates. Decisions will be made by pigs and announced to everyone else. Napoleon frames this as efficiency and protection. He claims ordinary animals cannot be trusted with complex choices. The animals remember the meetings, but the dogs are present now. Fear replaces discussion. Power is not seized, it is surrendered. Contact with humans was once forbidden. Under Napoleon, it resumes. Napoleon begins trading with neighboring farmers. He insists this is necessary. The pigs move into the farmhouse, sleep in beds, drink alcohol, and quietly alter the commandments to justify each change. The animals notice, but doubt themselves. As life grows harsher, Boxer works harder. When he collapses from exhaustion, Napoleon announces he will be sent to a hospital. Only when the van leaves do the animals realize the truth. It belongs to a slaughterhouse. Boxer is gone. Soon after, the pigs celebrate with money earned from selling him. Napoleon now openly drinks with humans. He shakes hands with them. Loyalty has become currency. The pigs walk on 2 legs. They carry whips. The commandments vanish, replaced by one final rule. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. The animals watch pigs and humans together through a farmhouse window. They look from pig to man and from man to pig. They cannot tell the difference. Animal Farm does not end with rebellion. An animal farm does not end with a scream. It ends with recognition. The animals do not revolt again. They do not sing. They do not even protest. They simply stand outside, watching through a window, trying to remember when everything changed, and realizing they cannot find the moment. That is Orwell's final warning. Oppression does not always announce itself. Sometimes it arrives quietly, wrapped in promises of efficiency, safety, and progress. Sometimes it grows not because people stop believing in it, but because they grow tired, distracted, or afraid of questioning those who speak in their name. Animal Farm survives time because it asks something uncomfortable of every reader and every society. Not who holds power, but how easily it is surrendered. The song that began the revolution is forgotten. The commandments meant to protect equality disappear, and what remains is not chaos, but order without justice. This is the mind behind Animal Farm. And this is why George Orwell still matters. If stories shape how we think, then understanding the minds behind them matters. This channel is called Mind Behind the Books. Here, we don't rush through plots. We take time to understand the ideas, the fears, and the questions that shape them. If this story stayed with you, consider subscribing. And the next time you open a book, ask not just what it says, but why it was written.